This is Heroes of Might and Magic, a turn-based strategy game released for the Windows PCs in the mid-90s by New World Computing, and the start of the extremely long Heroes of Might and Magic game series. Now, you should not confuse this game with the other game series called Might and Magic, also made by New World Computing, but which is a more traditional party-based RPG where you do RPG things. In Heroes, you control armies commanded by the titular heroes and go around trying to take over your enemies' castles in an effort to win the campaign. Now, when people talk about Heroes of Might and Magic, most people around my age group tend to talk more about Heroes 2 or 3, and not a lot of people seem to even remember the first Heroes of Might and Magic. I myself am only really familiar with the first 4 games, and in this review you'll notice I'll be making a lot of comparisons with Heroes 2. Now, I actually think Heroes 4 is a pretty fun game myself, although unfortunately it keeps crashing on my computer. And as for Heroes 3, I can never really get into that one because, well, these graphics look like hot ass. But Heroes of Might and Magic 1 is the game that I grew up playing the most, and is the game that I have the most nostalgia for. In each map you are assigned an alignment either as a knight, a barbarian, sorceress, or warlock, and you go around gathering resources, claiming mines for yourselves, as well as sawmills and chemist shops. And you can also try taking over unaligned towns in order to increase your daily money, or to just get a better variety of troops. The knights have a variety of human warriors, from peasants and archers to different kinds of knights. The barbarians include creatures like orcs, goblins, trolls, wolves, and finally a cyclops. The sorceresses have magical creatures like dwarves, fairies, as well as druids, and finally phoenixes. And the warlocks have a lot of Greek creatures, such as centaurs and minotaurs, hydras, and the best unit in the game, which is the dragon. Like I said, the game is divided into turns, which all represent a day of the week, and once 7 days have passed, all of the abodes in your castle get new creatures, thus allowing you to get some new troops. And combat is held in the side-angle views, and remember that you are in fact controlling armies, so this peasant, for instance, isn't losing health, it's representing a group of peasants, and that's how many peasants die. Now, the game does have a light RPG element, meaning that your hero's stats do affect your troops and how well they do in battle, but it's a light enough of an element that it doesn't really bother me. Now, like I said, most people are more familiar with the immediate sequel, Heroes of Might and Magic 2, and in fact, most of you will probably notice that the UIs for these games is almost completely identical. I will say that on purely objective merits, Heroes 2 is a superior game. There are 2 features in particular that make Heroes 2 a lot more easier to get into, but obviously I prefer Heroes 1 just because of the nostalgia factor. Sure, having fewer factions does suck a little bit, and as a kid I actually used to play the knights fairly consistently. There was no other reason for this other than I thought that they were the troops to have. That's until I played the warlocks and realized just how much better they are. Well, to be fair to the knights, if you can build up the castle much faster than the other factions, you can go wreck some shit. But on the other hand, if you lollygag for too long, even the barbarians will start kicking your ass pretty quickly. That's the thing about games like Heroes, I kinda prefer them over real-time strategy games. That's not because I'm better at them, but I just like having time to actually consider my options. And if you don't believe that I'm not very good at these, well, I have Let's Play series of both Heroes 2 and 1 to show you exactly what I mean. But I still know the insides of Heroes 1 a little bit better than Heroes 2, and like I said, Heroes 2 has a lot of features that make it a lot easier, but if you do want to just win and not have the computer opponents give you a lot of trouble, then good news. This game does allow you to basically make the NPCs dumb as mud, so there's that. I particularly really just like the music in this game. All the tunes are very memorable. Heroes 2's soundtrack is CD quality, but it isn't nearly as memorable in my opinion. When it comes down to it, I just enjoy the music from Heroes 1 a lot more. I also enjoy the artwork a lot more. It's not because I think the art in Heroes 1 is better. In fact, objectively, it is not. But I enjoyed the fact that the units are so freaking huge. There's a kind of a cartoonish charm to them, which I really enjoy. Also, apart from the UIs being practically identical, with Heroes 2 maybe having a few more options, especially in the castle building parts, you will also notice a lot of the same heroes were recycled in Heroes 2. That's because these characters actually exist within the series lore, but I'm pretty sure most people don't play the campaign mode, because it's just a lot more fun to play the one-off maps. Now, one of the features that was introduced in Heroes 2 but is missing from Heroes 1 is upgrading your units. This isn't something that I horribly miss, because like I said, I'm not very good at Heroes of Might and Magic, and even if I do upgrade my units, it doesn't feel like it does a damn difference. However, what is annoying is that you cannot split units within your hero's army. You can split units between a hero and a castle, but the minute you try to put a second unit of the same troops into the hero's army, the game just automatically makes them one big group. This is a little frustrating, especially because it makes it a lot more difficult to protect your ranged units, because the NPCs will very consistently always attack them first. You can at least adjust the positions of your troops. The other feature that is missing from Heroes 1, and this one might actually be a bit of a game breaker for some people, is the fact that there is no marketplace. Now, like I said, a big part of Heroes of Might and Magic is collecting resources, and particularly money. And as you try to get more advanced units, in addition to money, you also need other resources, either ore, sulfur, or chemicals. But especially in maps with high randomization, you're more than likely going to run into a situation where you're missing one of these elements. In Heroes 2, the marketplace allows you to get the elements that you are missing by trading in materials which you don't need at the time. Also, if you suddenly find all of your castles being attacked by enemies, but you're in serious need of cash in order to buy some defenses for them, you can even just flat out dump all of your resources for money. This feature has saved my butt so many times in Heroes 2 that it does annoy me a little bit that there's nothing even remotely similar in Heroes 1. Which means that if you're out of resources, the stakes are a lot higher in Heroes 1, and in fact, it kind of forces your hand into doing something very drastic. Like basically putting all of your units in one basket and attacking the enemy with it. At any rate, using magical creatures to attack each other, taking over castles, and even just constructing your own castles is very addicting. I remember sinking a lot of hours into this game as a kid, and although Heroes 2 is a lot more refined, I honestly just find it very refreshing to just go back to this one time and time again. And if you're only familiar with the later entries of the series, I think Heroes of Might and Magic is a fun game to give a whirl just to see how the series had its start. But that's all from me for now. I'm TheHande, and see you on the next one.